The city felt scared a time before people even knew what to call it. The city was a place that knew fear, and the city learned to live with that fear long before the city learned what people would name it. When the siren went off after the sun went down, people did not ask what was going on. They just ran. The siren sounded really low. It seemed very old. It was like the night was warning people of something. People did not wait to see what was happening. They just got out of the way. Doors were shut tight. Windows were covered up so it was dark inside. Even the tough gangs were scared. They hid in alleys and drains. This siren was not from the police or an ambulance. It was a warning that something bad was coming. Something worse than dying. The night siren was a signal to get to safety. People knew that when they heard this sound they had to get from the streets. The night siren was a warning that something was coming. It was not good. Everybody knew what that meant. It was very clear to everyone what was going on with that. The people all understood what that meant. The guard dog was awake. The Vampire King has been in charge for a long time. He is like a ghost that people do not see. The Vampire King has a lot of power that goes under the streets and under the buildings. It is like there is an other city down there that is made of darkness and blood. The thing that people are really scared of is not the Vampire King himself. It is the thing that the Vampire King keeps locked up. This thing is a bad creature that was made from magic and darkness. The Vampire King is the one that this creature listens to. The creature goes after people who do not listen to the Vampire King. It hurts people who disobey the Vampire King. The creature is a reminder that the Vampire King does not have to be nice to people. The Vampire King only helps people if he wants to. On nights like this nobody made it through the storm. The storm was really bad. Nobody survived its path. The storm was so strong that it destroyed everything in its path. Nights like this are really scary because the storm is so powerful that nobody can survive its path. No one, except her. She was sitting under the awning of a grocery store that nobody used anymore. Her knees were pulled up tight to her chest. She had a thin coat wrapped around her. The coat was not very good. The rain was getting through to her body. She had not felt warm in a time. The rain was also getting into her hair, which was all tangled. It was dripping down onto the pavement, which was all cracked. People were walking by her fast. They did not even look at her. This is what they always did. To these people she was a homeless girl like many others in the city. The city had a lot of people like her. She was just another one, like a shadow that nobody really sees. The woman was paying attention to what was being said. She was actually listening to every word that came out of the person's mouth. The woman was really focused on the conversation. The woman was not missing a thing. The ground was shaking under her feet. This was not because she was scared. It was because she knew what was happening. The stones were talking to her in a voice telling her stories that were older than the buildings above the ground. There was a sound of blood flowing under the streets like a sad song that was playing slowly. Tonight the song of blood was louder than usual. The blood, under the streets was humming a tune and the stones were whispering their old stories and she could feel it all, the blood and the stones, the stories and the song. The eclipse came up red and big over the city. It looked bad and it made the clouds look like they were hurt. The eclipse was a red color and it was swollen. It made everything look dirty and stained like something was bleeding up there. The eclipse was above the skyline. It was a pretty scary thing to see. A night of judgment. Across the square that was blocked off, vampires in clothes that looked really fancy stood along the streets. The vampires had expressions on their faces. They looked almost bored. Humans were pushed back behind rusty barriers. Fear was visible in their eyes. You could hear chains scraping against the concrete close by. The sound was really loud. The vampires in black were just standing there. Their faces were still cold. Humans were scared. They were trapped behind the barriers. The vampires in black were in front of them. The guard dog came out into the open. It was the guard dog that people had been talking about. The guard dog was finally here. This thing was really big. It looked like a wolf. It was not right. It was like a wolf. Something about it was very wrong and it made you feel weird. The shadow was over its body like it was alive and moving. There were chains around its neck made of iron. They had special marks on them like words that hurt and made it do what it was told. These words were cut into the metal. They were like spells that made it feel pain and obey. You could see its ribs. They were glowing a little like there was a fire burning inside its body. When it breathed, the air around it got all steamy even though it was raining. People were really scared. They screamed. The sound of people screaming was very loud. People screamed. The vampires smiled. They were the vampires. They smiled. The vampires had smiles on their faces. The vampires smiled at each other. A person came out from the area where the streetlights did not work. The streetlights just stopped shining in that spot. This figure emerged from the shadows. The Vampire King was really tall, much taller than she thought he would be. He had shoulders and wore all black, which made him seem like he was sucking up all the light around him. The Vampire King had long dark hair that was pulled back and tidy, and his face was very sharp and showed no feelings at all. It was like it was made to last forever. The Vampire King's eyes, which were very old and a silver color, looked right at the monster that was kneeling down first. Then they turned their attention to the woman. They started focusing on the woman. The world just got a lot smaller. Everything else just faded away. The world narrowed. It is like the world narrowed down to a few things that really matter. The world. That is all that is left now. She had been ignored her life. People looked through her. They stepped around her like she was not there. They spoke over her like her thoughts did not matter. This thing that was happening right now was different. The man's gaze did not slide past the woman. His eyes actually looked at her. The woman felt like the man really saw her. The man's gaze was fixed on the woman. It did not move away. The weight was really getting to her. The weight was affecting her a lot. This thing called weight weighed her. The king said, "Release the beast." The king's voice was really calm and deadly. The king meant it. The king was totally serious about releasing the beast. The guard dog just would not listen to anyone. The guard dog did not do what it was told. Gasps went through the vampires who were still there. Nobody took a breath. Nobody moved a muscle. The vampires just stood still. The king's jaw got a little tighter. You could barely notice it. The king was not showing much of a reaction, and the king's face was much still except for that tiny movement of the king's jaw. He wanted to know who this person was, so he asked the question. "Who are you?" he said to this person. The girl swallowed. She had a dry throat. Saying every single word was really hard. For the girl it felt like walking on glass. No one, the girl. She was being completely honest. The man's eyes moved to the chains that were just lying there on the ground. They were not tight like they should be. The runes on the chains were not burning very bright. The runes were supposed to be burning stronger than that. The chains and the runes were not looking right. The man told me that I said the name of the thing. He said that means I am something because I know the name of the thing. She shook her head. I did not tell him to do that, she said about the man. The woman was saying that she did not command the man. So the thing is, I am wondering why this thing decided to kneel down. What made the thing kneel? She stopped for a moment, then said quietly, because he remembers who he was. The king just stopped moving. For a moment, 1 second, something that you could not understand flashed across his face. The man told them to take the woman. He said this after a time, so it was about time he made a decision and gave them an order. Take the woman, that is what he wanted them to do. The words really cut deep, they struck like a blade. The words had an impact, the words struck like a blade that hurts a lot. Before she could do anything, the enforcers came closer. The guard dog jumped up, let out a really loud growl. Its big body made a shadow on the ground that moved around. The ground actually broke when the guard dog put its claws down. The girl reached out. Said, "Please do not hurt them." She was really scared. Wanted to make sure they were okay. The girl was very worried about them. Did not want anything bad to happen to the people she cared about. The beast froze again. It just stood there still, like the beast was waiting for something to happen to the beast. The beast did not move all. The king raised one hand. He wanted to say something to the people. The king looked at everyone around him. The king was very serious. The king began to speak. Everyone just stopped what they were doing. The people around stopped moving. Everyone stopped. The man kept looking at her. "You really care about the people who want to lock you up," he said. She looked down. "I do not want anyone to be hurt." She said this because she really did not want anyone to get hurt by the things that people do to each other. The thought of people getting hurt is very sad to her. She wishes that people would just be kind to one another. The king looked at her like she was a puzzle that he could not figure out. He turned a little, talking to the people in the court. He kept looking at her. "He told me that she will come with him. She will be okay. He said that she will not be hurt." "What about the beast?" one of the vampires asked. The king's lips curved into something that was not a smile. He said, "Chain the thing and you will die." Nobody said anything against it. The people just did not argue. The city has a lot of secrets. The girl found herself in a really old place deep beneath it. This place had halls made from a black shiny rock, and it seemed like magic was used to make it. The girl was standing with no shoes on. The floor was really cold, even colder than it is in the winter. The citadel was huge and very quiet. It felt like it was alive, and that made the girl feel funny, like her skin was getting goosebumps. As she walked by the walls, they seemed to be whispering to her. The old magic that was in the citadel was waking up. It was curious about the girl. The citadel was a strange place. The king was walking ahead of her. He was not in a hurry. The king took every step carefully. He finally said that the person is not afraid. She said that she is really tired. She is tired of running from things. Running is what she has been doing for a time now. The woman said that she is just tired of all the running. The man stopped. He just stopped what he was doing. The man stopped moving. Turned. The man told me that I should be really scared. He said that he has completely ruined cities for doing less than what I did tonight. He was talking about what I did. He was not happy about it. The man said that he has destroyed cities before and now he is warning me that I am in trouble. She looked at him. Her voice was trembling. She kept looking at him. Then why have you not gotten rid of the girl? Why have you not destroyed the girl? The question was just hanging in the air between them, like they were both waiting to see what the other person would say next. It felt like nobody was breathing. They were all just waiting for something to happen with the question. The question was still there. It was not going away. It was just sitting between them waiting for an answer to the question. There was a voice inside him that said he should not be alive. A voice inside him answered that he should not exist. The beast actually paid attention. It listened. This is really important because the beast listened. The morning did not come to the citadel like it does in the human world. Morning in the obsidian citadel is really different. The obsidian citadel has its way of starting the morning. The sun did not rise. There were no birds singing. No warm light came through the windows. The citadel moved a little. The stone it was made of was like something. It was responding to things that you could not see or hear. The shadows got smaller. The torches were not burning brightly. The old citadel knew that time was passing. It was not going to give in to time. The citadel was still standing strong. The girl woke up slowly. She was the girl who was waking up from a sleep. The girl was feeling a bit tired. The girl was taking her time to wake up. For a moment panic set in. It was a feeling that came naturally. Her body got ready for the worst, like hitting the pavement, being hungry, or hearing the sound of boots or people yelling. Instead she felt something soft under her fingers. It was sheets. The air was still. Quiet. The silence was not scary. She sat up. Her heart was racing. The room was really big. It was not fancy at all. There was no luxury stuff in it. No chains anywhere. The room had a bed, a chair, a basin of water, and the walls had symbols on them that had a glow like a heartbeat. The symbols on the walls did not scare the girl. The symbols on the walls were there. The room with the symbols on the walls was where she was. Those things felt really familiar to me. She got up without her shoes on. Walked across the room. She put her hand on the stone. Away she felt a quiet vibration going up her arm. It did not. It was not too much. It was gentle. It felt like the stone knew her. The stone felt familiar to her, like it was recognizing the girl. The woman said to me, "You remember me," in a quiet voice. The walls did not give an answer with words. They did give an answer with warmth. The walls answered people in their way with the warmth they felt when they were near them. This warmth was the way the walls said something to people, even though it was not with words. The walls gave people this feeling, and that is how the walls answered them. The vampire king had not slept all night. He was wide awake across the citadel. The man was standing in front of a mirror. This mirror was special because it did not show what you looked like. Instead, it showed you things that were really true. It had shown people who could not be trusted, false stories, and big fights that would happen later. When he looked into it this morning, the ancient mirror showed him, the man, nothing at all. The ancient mirror was blank. This thing had never happened before. It was a weird situation. The fact that it had never happened before was what made it so strange. "The woman is causing problems with the city's protection," one of his advisors said slowly, standing a steps away from him. "The city is reacting to her being." The king said, "That is impossible." He did not really mean the king was saying that. The word impossible did not sound like the king really believed it anymore. Someone else said that they checked her blood. "She is a being." The king turned around slowly. "Then tell me why my beast listens to her." Silence. The silence followed him as he sent the court away and walked down the corridors to her room. He said to himself that this was a plan. He was curious about her. He wanted to figure out what she was capable of. He was checking to see if she was a threat. The silence followed him to her chambers. The man did not tell the truth to himself. He just did not want to face the truth about himself. The truth is something that the man needs to tell to himself. The woman was sitting on the floor when the man entered. Her hands were resting on the stone floor. It was like she was a child listening for secrets. The woman looked up when the man approached her. She was startled. The woman was not afraid of the man. "The man said to me, 'You are awake.'" She nodded. The city was really loud. He looked at the person with a lot of suspicion. "What are you trying to say with that?" She stopped for a moment. Then she said what she had to say slowly, like she was picking her words so she would not hurt anything. "Places can remember things. People can remember things too. They remember the things that hurt them, the promises they made, and the people they love. The city remembers all of these things, every one of them. The city remembers everything that has happened. You talk like you have always known this thing. It is like you were born knowing it or something. You speak about it in a simple way, like it is not a big deal. It is a big deal to me. You just say it. That is it. You do not seem surprised or anything. It is weird. You really do talk like you have always known this. She said that she did not do it, she said it in a voice. She just learned how to listen to the music, she learned to listen to people, she learned to listen to the music of life, music of people, she learned to listen. He looked at her face. He saw the scars that were still there. He also saw the bruises that never really went away. These were marks that were left by the hands of people who were supposed to keep her safe. He thought about the hands that should have protected her. Instead they hurt her. The man looked at me. Said, who hurt me? He really wanted to know what happened to me. The man asked me that question because he could see that something was wrong with me. He wanted to know who hurt me. The question was a surprise for both of them. It really caught them off guard, this question did. They were not expecting the question all. The question was very surprising for both of them. She looked down. There were lots of people. That is not an answer. This thing is the one that is really honest. The only one that tells the truth is this thing. I think that this thing is the honest one. She told him then. Not everything at the same time. She did not do it in a way or try to make a big impression. She just shared bits of her story with him quietly when the moment felt right. Her childhood was really tough, she had to move from one place to another a lot. The adults in her life made her feel like she was a problem, like they did not want her around. She learned how to take care of herself on the streets, where it was important to be small and quiet if she wanted to stay safe. There were nights when she was so hungry it felt like her stomach was screaming at her, and the hunger felt even stronger than her fear. Then there were days when it was better for her to be invisible, to not be noticed by anyone, because that was the safest way for her to be. The childhood she had was really marked by her experiences of being on the streets and feeling hungry and scared. That is what she told him, the childhood she had. The man listened to what the other person was saying without saying a word. He did not interrupt the person who was talking to him. The person speaking was able to finish what they were saying. He was in charge for a long time. He had people killed. It did not bother him. When she told him what happened, in a very quiet voice, it made him feel bad inside. This feeling was strong. He did not like it. The way she talked about it made him feel strange, like something was turning inside him. He did not like this feeling, it was new. It was not nice. The man finally spoke up. Said, you survived. She gave a smile that looked really tired. I did not have a choice, she said, about the situation, with the decision-making process of her life. What happened with the choices she had to make, with the decision that was made by her, the choice that was the decision that was the choice that she had to make, the choice that she made, the choice, the decision. The guard dog was moving around below. The king could feel it because of the connection he made a time ago. The guard dog was feeling restless. It was alert and aware. The king knew this about the guard dog. He told me that I know the beast. I asked him how I know the beast. Her smile just faded away. When I was a kid, she said, I would hear something crying in my dreams. It sounded really angry and really lonely, like it was trapped. I did not know that the thing I heard in my dreams was actually real. The crying thing in my dreams seemed angry, seemed lonely, and seemed trapped. The man felt his chest get really tight. His chest was tightening up. It did not feel good. His chest was tight. You had a dream about him? I had a dream about pain. It was not my own pain. The pain in my dream belonged to someone, and that is what I dreamed of. I dreamed of this pain that was not mine. She looked up at him, then her eyes were clear. He was not always a person, she thought. He was not always a monster. The words really hurt me more than any knife could. The words cut into my heart. I think the words were very painful because they struck deeper than any blade. The king looked away, his jaw was clenched tight. Memories of the war came back to him, memories of people betraying him and of how desperate things were. He thought about his guardian, who was hurt and trapped, all in the name of keeping things in order. The king thought about how his guardian was broken and bound. The man said this to me in a voice. You should hate me, he said. He did some things, and that is why I should hate him. He told me that I should hate him for what he has done. She shook her head. I do not hate the people who are afraid. That really stopped him in his tracks. He just froze. The thing that stopped him was a surprise. It stopped him cold. No one had ever spoken to him like that. The way the person talked to him was really something. Nobody had ever been so blunt with him before. It was like they did not care about his feelings all. The person just said what was on their mind. That was it. He was not used to people speaking to him like that. Days went by. The woman stayed inside the citadel. She was not locked in. She was not really free either. The vampires kept an eye on her. They were very careful around her. The servants started to like her even though they did not want to. The guard dog was very calm. It was lying quietly with its shadow on the stone floor of pulling hard on its chains like it used to do for a very long time. The king started to become different. The king was not the person anymore. This was a change for the king. The king was changing in ways. Not openly. Not dramatically. He found himself walking slower when he passed her room. He would listen when she talked. He gave orders that helped people of hurting them. He did things that spared lives when he could have easily ended them. He was changing the way he did things because of her. The man said to himself that this situation was only going to last for a while. He kept telling himself that it was temporary. The situation with the man was that he thought it was temporary. The city said something to him. One night the alarms went off. They did not come from people. From the vampires themselves. A group of vampires got really mad. They were upset about the girl being. They were scared of what the girl meant to them. The girl was a deal to the vampires. The people said that she has to go. They think that she is making the throne weaker. They really believe that she is a problem for the throne. The throne is what they care about. They think she is bad for it. The king was standing in front of them and he did not say a word. The girl put her hand on the wall behind him where he could not see her. The city really listened to what was going on around it. People were making noise. The city was taking it all in. The city really listened to what people had to say. It was like the whole city was paying attention. The city was completely quiet and still waiting to hear more. The city was taking it all in. The king did the thing. The man said this in a voice. If anyone touches the woman, they will have to deal with him. He meant that the woman is under his protection and he will take care of her. Anyone who touches the woman will have to answer to the man. The words echoed through the hall like a vow. The sound of the words was really loud. It felt like the words were making a promise. The hall was big and empty. The words echoed off the walls. The words were the words that everyone was thinking about, the words that were on everyone's mind, the words that were the words. The vampire king had a realization for the first time in a very long time. This was something that could be very bad. The vampire king was in a spot now that he knew this thing about the situation. The vampire king thought that this was not good all. He was not thinking about it anymore. The decision to protect her was already made. The question of whether or not to keep her safe was no longer an issue. For him, he was going to protect her. The person already had it. End of part 3. When you are ready, say part 4. Next. The rebellion strikes. The girl's true connection to the throne. The king is really taking a chance when he decides that being kind is more important than having all the power. He is putting everything on the line to do what he thinks is right. That is being kind to people. The king chooses kindness over power, which is a very brave thing for the king to do, and it shows that the king is a good person. Drop of blood.